All right, come on, let's get it. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought. Oh man, I'm on a different high today. I was bumping some of that old school Lloyd Banks, 90s babies know what I'm talking about. G-U-net. I was tuning into some of that as I was finishing, went across the bridge there, and you see that sunrise. It's like it's a new day. It's a new opportunity. Let's just go get it. Happy Sunday to you folks. Happy Stay Hired Sunday, by the way. We got that coming in at 12:45 today, as we normally do, with my good friend Kimberly Boo. Let's get into today's Move Swiftly thought. We got some college football news. College football making some news in mid-April, which is, I love it. Again, a lot of my business, everything that I've created, the entire framework for the way I think and the way I go about, creating opportunities, not only for myself, for the people around me, and everything the way I think it stems from this concept of the college football world. And college football was one of the main storylines that came out yesterday. I believe it's Nico Iamaleava. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, but if you're in the college football world, you may recognize that name because I think it was coming into his freshman year that Tennessee went to bat for him, man. Tennessee went to bat for him, and I guess he got there was some sort of misconduction or something that happened with his NIL deal that caused some red flags, and NCAA got involved, and Tennessee kind of went to bat for him and made it so he was eligible to play and stuff like that. So long story short, it got announced yesterday. Tennessee had their spring game, and it got announced that he would no longer be a part of the Tennessee program because apparently he asked for more money. He wanted $4 million. Again, no one knows the truths in these dealings because the NIL is so brand new, it's so fresh, and it is just so shaky and flaky. So no one actually, even the people that are reporting it, in my opinion, no one actually knows the truth behind the situation outside of maybe the head coach of Tennessee, Nico, his father, and his representation, his team or whatever. No one actually knows the truth. I mean, unless it's those people that were, in it from jump, right? So long story short, is what I want to address is the fact that I created, I'm Mr. Acronym guy. I come up with a lot of acronyms. So what needs to be addressed and what needs to be said is that NIL, it's clear that it needs institutional leadership. All right, that's the new acronym. Again, I come up with these probably about 10 to 15 acronyms a day. And this one is important because I remember as I was, getting ready to address this yesterday, I was thinking about, how can I really address it in a broader landscape, because this thing is bad. And it's bad because, in all honesty, I've watched Nico twice this year. I watched them twice, the major games. I watched them when they played against Georgia, and I watched them when they got their ass kicked in the playoff game against Ohio State. And in my opinion, he just is not worth what they're going to bat for. I think Tennessee made the right decision in letting him go, because when it comes to how he actually performed on the field, when you actually watch the game, he did not look that great. And not only that, but when you really watched it, especially that Georgia game, when you watched it, he just didn't have, in my opinion, what it takes to actually take Tennessee to a national championship, and they're in the SEC. So you got to understand, that's the standard. The standard isn't just getting to the playoffs. When you're talking about SEC football, the standard is a national championship, all right? And he just didn't have, in my opinion, the ability. He wasn't the guy that we thought that I guess Tennessee thought he was going to be. There are much better quarterbacks out there. There are much better players out there. And I loved what the head coach, Josh Heupel, said in this press conference. I listened to this press conference as I was getting myself prepared for this. He goes, look, now we have a team that's working together, and everything isn't going to be about one specific player, especially if that player is asking for $4 million. He's asking pretty much, again, this is just what got reported. We don't know the truths of it. We don't know how it all went down or what he was promised when he got there. Again, all that stuff is between him and the institution. But what got reported was that he was asking for $4 million. And if you watch him on the field, he was not worth $4 million. He did not produce a $4 million tape, okay? And that's what's important. And that's what needs to be said, is understanding as we're getting more into NIL and what's happening with the the revenue share and all that, you as a player, you have to perform on the field. At some point, the coaches and the system's going to catch up to it, to where they're not going to just keep giving players who are not performing on the field. They're going to figure out a way to get out of situations and, again, just let them go. So performance, actually performing on the field is what's more important than how much of a bag that you're actually going to be getting. And also, again, going back to the acronym I created, when it comes to institutional leadership, and I said this in my latest book, Transferring D1, I said it, what has to start happening is you have to start putting it in the contract that NIL dollars are to be shared with the university. What a player can go out and make on their own, you have to at least give a negotiable percentage back to the university. So now there's a loyalty factor there, and you're picking your school based on what's going to give you, again, make you a good amount of money, but also make you a good solid connection that you fit well within the university community. Just like I was telling you past Friday night, when you go there, you see members of the South Florida community at the field at FAU and all that kind of stuff. You got to figure out what player is going to connect well with the community and what the university is trying to build on the academic side. Institutional leadership. All right, so I'll close you out with that concept. NIL needs institutional leadership. Expect an article about that concept as we move forward, especially as we get closer and closer to the fall. All right. All that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into everything I'm doing, makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.